With the world watching Prince Harry and Meghan Markle prepare for the royal wedding, it was easy to focus only on the big day. But becoming a member of the British royal family meant that Meghan's life was about to change in ways that went far beyond wearing a wedding dress and moving into a palace. Royal life comes with traditions, expectations, and some very unusual rules. And once Meghan said "I do," there were several things she could no longer simply do the way she had before. Before becoming a royal, Meghan Markle was an actress on Suits, so signing autographs was hardly unusual for her. Fans could approach her, ask for a signature, and she could simply write her name. But royal life came with a different set of expectations. Members of the royal family traditionally avoid signing autographs because of concerns that their signatures could potentially be copied or forged. That meant something as simple as signing a fan's notebook could suddenly become off-limits. There have been occasional exceptions, however. Prince Charles was known for politely explaining that he couldn't provide an autograph when people asked, but there were moments when circumstances made him bend the usual tradition. During a visit to Cornwall following severe flooding, a man whose home had been damaged asked Charles for his signature. Charles reportedly agreed, writing his name along with the year. Meghan also found her own way around the tradition. In January 2018, a young fan named Caitlin asked her for an autograph. Instead of signing her own name, Meghan reportedly wrote "Hi Caitlin" on the paper. It wasn't technically the traditional royal signature, but it gave the young fan something special to remember. Meghan had never been someone who stayed completely quiet about social issues. Before joining the royal family, she had openly discussed subjects she cared about and had participated in activism. But becoming a senior member of the monarchy meant entering a world where political neutrality was extremely important. The British royal family is expected to remain politically neutral. That means royals generally avoid publicly supporting political parties, candidates, or specific political positions. Queen Elizabeth II was required to remain strictly neutral on political matters, and other members of the royal family followed the same general principle. For Meghan, this could be a major adjustment. She had already developed a public voice on social and political issues before marrying Harry, but royal life required her to be much more careful about what she said publicly. One royal historian even suggested that Meghan's outspoken nature could potentially create difficulties for her within the royal family. In other words, becoming a royal didn't simply change Meghan's title, it also changed the boundaries around her public voice. When Harry and Meghan announced their engagement, most people immediately looked at the engagement ring. But royal fashion experts noticed something else. Meghan was wearing a dress that left her legs uncovered. That may sound like a tiny detail, but royal fashion has traditionally followed some very specific expectations. Royal expert Victoria Arbiter explained that members of the royal family were generally expected to wear nude-colored stockings at formal royal events. She described stockings as one of the more consistent expectations associated with royal appearances. Perhaps Meghan simply hadn't yet become familiar with every royal fashion tradition, and over time she appeared to adapt her wardrobe for official royal engagements. It was a small detail, but it showed just how closely royal appearances could be scrutinized. One of the strangest royal traditions involved something incredibly ordinary: going to bed. According to an account from a former private secretary, royal dinners could continue for hours. After dinner, guests might spend another hour sitting together and making conversation. But there was an unwritten rule. Nobody was supposed to retire for the night before the Queen did. That reportedly created problems for Princess Diana, who found the long formal evenings difficult. Eventually, Diana reportedly chose to excuse herself and go to bed anyway, even though doing so was considered improper royal etiquette. For Meghan, following the tradition would mean accepting that even something as personal as her bedtime could be influenced by royal protocol. Perhaps the biggest professional change was Meghan's acting career. Before Harry, she was best known around the world for playing Rachel Zane on Suits, but after marrying into the royal family, continuing a Hollywood acting career was no longer realistic. There was already a famous example of this kind of sacrifice. Grace Kelly had been a successful Hollywood actress before marrying Prince Rainier III of Monaco, after which she left her acting career behind. Meghan eventually made the same kind of decision. She left Suits after 7 seasons. But Meghan didn't describe the move as simply giving up her career. Instead, she viewed it as entering a completely different stage of her life. She described it as a change, a new challenge, and a new chapter. Her final major acting appearance would effectively become her appearance as a royal bride during the highly anticipated wedding. For someone who had spent years building an acting career, that represented a dramatic turning point. And then there was travel. Before marrying Harry, Meghan could travel much more independently, but royal security meant that her freedom to simply go somewhere alone was changing. Following her engagement, she reportedly received royal protection officers. Royal travel also involved an enormous amount of planning. According to royal expert Gordon Rayner, international royal tours could take around 6 months to organize. Even when royals arrived at a particular location, their schedules were tightly controlled. Individual visits could last only around 40 minutes before the royal party moved on to the next engagement. And because of security considerations, royal travel wasn't as spontaneous as ordinary vacations. Even a honeymoon would come with an important condition: security. Harry and Meghan could enjoy time away together, but they would still have protection around them around the clock. So while becoming a princess might sound like living a fairy tale, Meghan's new life came with plenty of restrictions. No casually signing autographs, no publicly taking political positions, strict expectations about clothing, royal etiquette influencing even bedtime, leaving her acting career behind, and giving up much of the freedom that comes with traveling independently. For Meghan Markle, marrying Prince Harry wasn't simply a wedding. It meant stepping into an institution where tradition had been built over generations, and where even the smallest everyday choices could suddenly become matters of royal protocol. Because behind the glamour of royal life, there were rules that Meghan had to learn very quickly.